All right, we are live. Voice is signing up. Gotta invite your friends. Let me get this set up right here. And I want to test. We're going to do a sound check first before we get this show started. Get that set up out here. Okay, good. So, guys, if you're following right now, show started. All right. Sound. Get that set up out here. 1 2 1 2. Good. Mic check. 1 2. So, guys, if you're following right now, show started. All right. Sound. Get that set up out here. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2. So, guys, if you're following right now. Oh, perfect. Our sound is wonderful, fantastic over there. So, lower the volume. And I'll put it down right here to monitor it. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Voice of SINOE in the Diaspora with Doc Sayer Pode, Esoteric. We are coming to you live from Prospect Park, Pennsylvania, these United States of America. I told you the other day, right, I was bringing my special guest, calling the Supreme Rabbi of the Sapo Nation. I will not call the name right now until we do our little commercial. And we'll be right back. Let me get some music here for us while we share this show for you.
Aha! But you know, Tamu, when you're so yes, oh, MOBUTU Association in America. I'm so right there. Kalu you and Monso to one national group to Besta. Ah, yeah. National President Prespa Quincy Rule. So I did. I my name is what way you Jozo me I think it. Oh yeah, can one day over. Bravo, can one day over. Can one day over. Can one day over. And yeah, bravo me and yeah, you we want you. Apura boleva. Nye mwanya. So you say now. Martina go. Tina bewe ya go. Better than one day I want ya the one go. Man, that's why you want your papa you. Can my you my penny? Mama boy, you get up at the yeah. I never I say what way. I will get to tell you at the other. I will be your liver. Emmanuel, no. Aha, secretary. I will my get to you. I will put right here. I know you are mama. You must be bad there. You can't get them more run. You are brave. Never goes a walk out. You are treasure. We are treasure. Mama, you're low. I get never run. We are. She best are up the wall. We are moving. Il a chopé. Financial secretary. Aïe. Adeyabuka. Ademawe. Mane no bawa no ibayade. Ye wenge kanga danu kaya buka de mabeno. Ma wo ya da wa luwe ma duaya. Apo ya boyo yolo. Haja wene. Reverend Daniel Wallo. Chaplain. Asoblo ayede. Chaplain asoblo ayede yo Daniel Wallo asoblo ayede yo de yega. Haja we. Dina suru. Where's Lele? Sawa mama. I did monsoon. $7 young man. What's your motive? Kim Huberte, National President, Bank Association in America. Aye. Honorable George Pate, Labro Ambassador to the US. Aseo. Where you got the monsoon? So, can one day you go? Can one day you go? Can one day you go? The one you know. you see it. No Bitania, maybe Wundele Yaba. And you will play with a second piece. I Wundele Yaba on the Mawa. And you play with Come for Rimbo boys. Kai Fale, Bochema, Apple Monsu, Abibati, Ratchet, Ude. Go Chalele, Mama, so I do. Esther Selly, David. Aha, so. As I Fale, Apostle Monsu, my Setale. Aha, Anya, so. And I walk, but I'm leader. God, when there's a monster of a MOBUTU Association in America. Asawo, when on roof bay, I'm a side demonstration, I'm a set. That's me.
Hello to all my fans around the world. My name is Marie Nyenambo, the queen of traditional music. The only thing I want you to do to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on WhatsApp, I'm on Amo. Just subscribe to my channel. Promote me, my fans. Subscribe to my channel.
Subscribe, guys. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get the ball rolling here. Welcome to the Voice of SINOE in the diaspora. With Dark Side for the Esoteric, my special guest. You see in the beautiful image on the screen there for you. It's my special guest tonight, Honorable that's BESTMAN J. JUDUE Jr. We call him the Supreme Rabbi of the Sarpo Nation. And we call him the Supreme Rabbi because he's not a religious rabbi. He's a logical and sensible rabbi. And that's why we call him that name. All right, so tonight the man is on the show to bring you some logic and some sense. A lot of things we have a lot of nonsense in the community, and this young intellectual is about to pump some sense in our heads tonight. And so as you join, please share the link for us. Share with your friends. You know your friends are not my friends, and my friends are not your friends, even though we might share some friends in common. All right, so let me see quickly. Let me go to mine so I can put my special guest name over here. All right, so without further ado, we are beyond time. I'd like to take this time right now to invite my special guest in studio. The JUDUE.
Whoa, I like that. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, guys. So audio is good. Don't worry about it. It's very good out there. Let me take that image down, and we can have the interaction here with our people. Where's my image? Boom. Let me get that down. Great. All right, Mr. Judu, welcome to the Voice of SINOE. I'm happy to have you in studio. I think you're the second person physically in studio.
Thanks, and thanks for honoring my request for being in studio. Thanks for the invite. And I always want to say a big thank you to our virtual audience. And I just hope that this show will be enjoyed as they always or usually enjoy past months or previous months. Thank you.
All right, man. But how's your day going so far, though?
It's been tough. I tried to squeeze this show into my schedule, but I'm here, and please bear with me because I took some notes due to time constraints. So every time my face or attention or eye contact is off the set, just know that I'm reading my notes.
No problem. No, you're not taking a test.
So no. So that's fine. Thank you.
All right. But the family, everybody else,
okay. Everybody's doing well. Okay. I'm thankful that we can now interact face to face. I don't know about you, but I'm inoculated, or I've had my.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you very much. So we are a bit safe, not knowing that much of the new Delta variant or virus.
Right.
So we hope that we are all safe. Thank you, and thanks for having me in your home. I do appreciate it.
No problem.
It is hospitable.
Thank you. All right, guys. All right, there you have it. That's my special guest tonight. So the game plan here, Mr. Judu, which you are fully cognizant of, the community. A lot of things are going on right now. The organization, you were one of the guys when we had the conflict before. You were very instrumental. You were very active in bridging the gap, and we are back to the same thing. So I just call you as the supreme rabbi to make sense of what is going on.
Somehow a compliment. Thank you. I don't get to be complimented that many times, so I'm thankful. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Let me see something. I want to bring this to go follow our Jenna here, so we don't get off track.
Thank you.
So I want to call the conflict in the USA. Do we have conflict?
We simply do, and I would call it State of the Union. What's the State of the Union? Let's diagnose the State of the Union. I think we should do that.
Diagnose it for us. What is going on? I mean, you're the doctor.
Yes. Not.
Right now,
I have a bit of
you're a logical doctor right now.
Well, let's give it a try. But I will begin by first saying a big thank you to the executive and President Arthur Giglio.
Green Code Giglio, you mean?
Yeah, Green Code Giglio. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction.
Right.
Green Code Giglio for the completed nursing home quarters in SINOE.
Okay.
That's a hallmark. Is the first of its kind in our history or existence as USAA. And I think that will be remembered forever. It's not just his legacy, but his administration legacy. And I also want to say a big thank you to the board of directors, including Chairman Usaa, whom I refer to as Uncle Usaa, for the support and ability to get along all through this process. Because had it not been for both folks being able to coalesce, there would have never been such a project. So we thank them. Thank you guys very much. And as I continue to speak, let's stay futuristic and hope that they are able to get along again to resolve these issues. Thank you.
Okay, but you talk about the nurses' quarter. I think that's I call that geographical declaration. What economic impact does that have, given the condition of our people? Why should we focus on nurses' quarter first?
So I love the question, but can we put it down to our?
All right, we can defer.
Let's defer to.
That's fine.
When we talk about projects.
Okay,
that's a very good question.
Okay,
I think actually,
that's
thank you. Please make sure we ask that question. I will take note of that.
Okay.
The economic impact. Okay.
All right. So we are still dealing with the conflict.
So yeah, I can now delve into the issue.
Go ahead. You can.
So once again, our nation, our union is at a tipping point of being split or separated, and it's unacceptable. The core essence of the USAA is to keep us together, we the SAPO people, to keep us together in unison as a union, and that's why the organization's name is tied with the first word united, followed by SAPO Association in the Americas. Thus, unity must prevail despite our differences. We must put aside our egos and prides to ensure that history doesn't repeat itself. Leaders are servants, not dictators, and our people must be led rightfully. It is within this context I wholeheartedly welcome the idea of being on this show for the purpose of knowledge sharing, in hopes that my recommendations are immediately acted on. That said, let's talk about the conflict. Conflicts are inevitable, and when handled ineffectively, can ruin relationships. Ineffectively, when conflicts aren't handled well, what happens? We watched this happen 7 years within our union. People tend to dislike each other, turn it into personal dislike, disrespecting each other, breaking down of relationships, etc., etc. On the contrary, when conflicts are handled effectively, they yield healthy results and benefits. And some of those results could be strengthening relationships, accomplishing shared goals, and establishing healthy boundaries. So, that said, we as a union now find ourselves at a crossroad, requiring a decisive decision that will keep us together or apart, make us or break us. And I guarantee you, the SAPO people, that our leaders on both sides of the aisle don't want this union separated. The board of directors of USAA and the executive do not. Why I say so? I have spoken with the union's president, Honorable Green Gilio.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to make sure that's my president. I must respect that. And the board chairman, Honorable Usaa. Both gentlemen want this organization to hold, but ongoing negotiations are at a standstill. What do we do? Our current problem is solvable. It is reconcilable and can be done within the soonest possible time, provided we immediately act upon those recommendations I'm about to proffer. But before doing that, let's understand who we are as a union before delving into interventions or recommendations. I hope I'm not talking too much.
Sure, no, that's fine. That's why you are here.
I love taking notes. So thank you. So our situation as a union is delicate in a sense that the USAA is a tribal organization, meaning we are all related. We are brothers, we are sisters, cousins, nephews, aunts and uncles, fathers and mothers, extended families, etc. So we must be very careful as to how we go about resolving our issues. The approach matters. All right? So I'm sorry that I'm sounding so instructional or like I'm a teacher.
Yeah, I'm following.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You can always pick on that. Okay. So let's discuss the interventions. Having said that, let's discuss the interventions.
Yeah, but before you transition to the interventions.
Thank you very much. Right? Any questions?
Yeah. So you said during your deliberation, you talk about unity and unity must prevail, we should be united, all of those things. I mean, I know you're about to talk about intervention and stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know whether you are not taking what is actually happening into reality, because the union is actually divided. But you are saying unity must prevail.
Yes.
But from what I'm looking at right now, it seems like unity is not prevailing, though.
No, it's not. And we must act now, because conventions are around the corner.
Mr. Judu, many forces have intervened. For example, the the elders, they have intervened.
Yep.
The concerned members, they have intervened.
Yep.
The Queen, yes, the Queen, she put a group together to no avail. So we have all these different forces. I mean, they congealed and they try to prevail on the president,
right? Or
on both ballots. From my analysis, the boy is willing,
right?
But the president is the one that is intransigent.
Well, I don't want to side.
Okay,
I don't want to side. I'm not going to side with anyone. Like I said, we are all interrelated.
So where do you stand then?
Thank you, and that's why I want to provide an intervention.
Okay,
so let's get to it.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm first and foremost, like I said, it's a delicate situation. We are all interrelated, and for instance, I've known Uncle Usaa forever. It's a Sabi. I call him Uncle Usaa. I don't really call him Mr. Sabi.
Okay.
So it's no way that I'm going to take sides with him or Mr. Julio.
But Jude, somebody must be wrong.
Well, we're going to get there.
All right.
We're going to get there. It's not my place.
All right.
It's not my place. So this is what's going to happen. Interventions, right?
Right.
So what we're going to do, this is first and foremost, and I guarantee you that this is what happened. This is what resolved the first issue that we had in this conflict union. Number one, we must make sure that all parties, right, meet face to face. And what I mean face to face is in one room, right? Let them greet each other, let them sit down, let them talk under the cola tree, or what we call Uyetuzon.
Okay.
That must happen. That was the icebreaker of us resolving that issue.
We don't have though.
Well, we're going to get there.
Okay.
It's based on immediate arrangements after the show ends. We're going to start to reach out immediately. So that's it. They must all come together in one room. Virtual thing don't work. Let me give you an example. Part-time, I work part-time as a mobile therapist and behavior specialist. And when this pandemic kicked in, I was asked to go virtual, meaning providing therapy virtually. And I was one of those who took the stance that I'm not going to do it. It's unfair to my clients or consumers. I must advocate on their behalf. The majority of these folks struggle with what you call short attention span. It's very common in America, and we can generalize that anyway. So I said, no. I work with two companies, and I told them, no, I'm not going to do it. And they said, why? I said, because you're being unfair to them. How long can a parent or a child sit on virtual or do virtual learning or therapy or psychosocial session with a therapist on the other end? It's not possible. You must be fully engaged. You must be face to face.
Okay.
Right? And that's it. So that's what's going to happen here.
So, but
go ahead.
Before,
now it's open. We can talk.
Yeah, Mr. Judah. Okay, so it's a face to face.
Yeah.
The intervention that have been made, the board of directors, or let's say the elders, the various members of the union headed by either poor and no people. That's what they were trying to do.
To bring them face to face.
Yeah, to get us to one convention.
Okay.
So that we'll be able to meet.
But that's not the face to face I'm talking about.
Okay, give me what you're talking about.
So then. The face to face is this: what we're going to do. The majority of the members of this union, including the board, and correct me if I'm wrong, including the board members and others, reside within the Delaware Valley chapter.
Yeah.
Right. So this is what we're going to do. I'm sorry that I'm jumping the gun, but let me so that we identify what I mean by face to face.
Okay.
We're going to reach out and ask and beg. I am willing to stay in that place. The executive, I believe they all three, the president and his two members, vice and financial chair, whoever. We want to fly those guys in.
Okay.
They're going to come into our chapter. We're going to arrange a meeting. They're going to sit down.
Judah is easier said than done.
No, it's easy. It is. We're going to finalize the process.
It's not an impediment. That's not an impediment.
It's going to happen. So
go ahead.
Let me go ahead, right?
All right, go.
And that's why I mean by face to face. So let me just go ahead.
All right.
They're going to come down here, and we're all going to sit down along with some others. I'll identify all of that.
Okay.
But that's what I mean by face to face. They can't be out there. You have this group and you have the telephone call. No.
But how is it different from meeting at a convention, though? How is it different from meeting at a convention?
But it's not a convention thing yet. We can't even go to a
then you're not following
convention.
your constitution says if the board of directors and the executive cannot agree, they should bring it to the General Assembly, which is the convention.
Absolutely. But now you have the executive from the grapevine. I heard that they've already booked a hall. I got a call. And whoever called me said a hall is being booked, and I think you should stop wasting your time. And I said, listen, I've rented halls. I'm the treasurer up here at the Masonic Hall here that we rent out. And there are stipulations or regulations that when you pay your money to rent a hall, you can always get refund back, certain percentage taken, or you can postpone the event based on whatever agreement you've entered into. So that should be no problem. Our focus here should be getting both parties to work together to go to Florida. Yes, I agree. It's a constitution. We should all go to one convention. But if one party is saying now they're not going there because of whatever reason, we must negotiate. We'd rather negotiate than to dwell on constitution.
Jude, we have been negotiating for 10 months.
I know. And see this union break. I, for one, do not want this union to break. Let's negotiate so that we all go to Florida.
How long should we negotiate for?
This can happen within the next week or two, I can tell you. If you guys are if the others and the general body, yeah, or PA chapter can give me the go ahead to do so.
Okay.
This can happen within a week or two.
But why didn't you join the concerned members though?
I was part of it, Miss Edith Paul, right? She was the head, right?
Right.
She did call me. She reached out to me. And that's how I was able to reach out to others. However, I decided not to get back to her. Let me say it publicly. No disrespect, but I saw it as a conflict of interest simply because Miss Paul is one of the board members' wife, right?
Okay.
Okay. So that's a direct conflict of interest. That's the reason why I chose not to reach out.
But you just said from your analysis with your family, though,
yeah,
so you can't get neutral people.
No. But when it comes to resolving conflict, those are the triggers. Those are the triggers. You must identify those triggers and remove them. All right. So
that means you need people absolutely out of the community, though, in order to do that.
No, I will get there. I will get it.
All right, go ahead.
I will get it. So that's why I mean my face-to-face. We have to bring the executive into Philadelphia.
Okay.
We need a well-planned one, and as soon as possible.
So why the other group can't go to Minnesota, though? I mean, just bringing the people to Philadelphia.
Like I said, we have more members here, and the members can also prevail. It depends on how we want this set up when the group come in. We can prevail. We can ask them. Okay? That's one. Two, we need to have a good facilitator and make sure to include no more than 2 elders to help with the process since they were involved.
Okay.
We just want two elders sitting.
So the number of the elders is a problem?
Yeah. We don't want to overwhelm this discussion. Let the elders speak too. We don't want to overwhelm the discussion. We want to be direct, and we tell you why. Okay. So the facilitator, a role that I'm willing to play, will provide a non-violent way for both parties to resolve dispute, making decisions about what counts as fair or a just resolution, and encouraging stakeholders to share their views. Now, the role of the facilitator continues, right? If I'm fortunate to serve in such capacity, I'm going to focus on issue or complaint one at a time as we sit to discuss these issues. 1 room, we sit and we talk. 2, try to agree on what the specific problem is. We'll have to define the problem. 3, we must determine underlying needs to explore options to meet each party's needs, right? And how we do that?
A little bit.
Okay, this is what I mean. To discover needs, we must find out how you discover needs is this. You want to find out from each party why people want the solutions they initially proposed. Okay. So we want to find out why, even though we've been told that by the Honorable Gilio, on why they want this letter reskinned. Just as an example.
Okay.
Right? So that helps us identify those needs. And once we discover the needs, while doing so, we want to avoid difficult conversations that may be difficult because of hurt feelings and angry spoken words that have taken place in the past. Maybe over the past months, there's been a lot of disrespect. I read different things of different members against or about our leaders. I don't think that's respectful, but hey, you don't control everyone's feelings out there. Social media, they all have the rights to come in whatever way, and some people haven't read properly, and some just behave the way they are, and you can't change them. So that's the reason why when you have this discussion,
I hate to intervene, but I mean, what I'm hearing from you is like what I call the Band-Aid solution.
Yeah.
That's why you want also do.
No, it's not a Band-Aid solution.
Because you said we should avoid.
No, when we're discussing, during that identical discussion where both parties going to sit, I don't want to bring up things that this person said, I hurt this person's feelings.
Okay.
I don't want to do that in a discussion. We want to avoid it because it's going to what you call trigger or restock that emotion, and there might be a breakdown in the discussion, there might be cursing, there might be fussing or so. That's what I mean by that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're almost there. We want to find common areas of agreement, agree on procedure to follow through with, agree on some small changes to give an experience of success. For example, having both the board and executive agreed on elections committee formation before they leave. That should be our first, it's just an example.
Okay. Before
you leave. So now we've moved past this. Let's agree on, let's sit and form this something so that we can all go and sit in Florida and do our usual thing and have fun and amend our constitution or whatever we want to do, right? Then we also want to determine which actions will be taken, making sure all parties buy into those actions. And then determine what's next if the negotiation breaks down. But guess what? It's not going to break down if we use this route. You know why?
Why?
Our tradition wouldn't allow it.
The tradition has been violated already.
But once we meet the tradition, we'll rejuvenate. The tradition will regain its strength.
Predicated on what?
Predicated on what? Let me tell you something, my brother. Meeting face-to-face and conflict resolution is very important. I tell you, I'm an administrator. The majority of times, I run a couple of projects around here. I last work with Resource for Human Development somewhere down in Philadelphia. And one of my biggest challenges was managing people of diverse backgrounds and with different level of education, high school, college graduates, XYZ. It was tough. A lot of problems came from those high school graduates. And the majority of the time they would come to complain. I'm not going to listen to you and then go and listen to the next person. I want to bring you both in the room that when you get out of my office, we're going to have a common ground. And that's what happened all of the time. That's how I was able to resolve conflict.
Okay.
And that's how that conflict was resolved after 7 years. 7 years, our brothers and uncles could not sit. The little Gesubu. The little Gesubu taught me in the 3rd grade, elementary school.
Oh, wow.
He's known me since elementary. All right? Gesubu, the little Gesubu name came up because I love him and miss him so badly. He helped refine and groom me academically. I will use another name. Could not see the Honorable Tia Jadia or the Honorable Koji could not talk to or see this other person. I'm just giving examples.
Right.
And they were all family. And they went on for years. You know why? They were cursing and fussing at each other. That's because they weren't able to sit down with a professional facilitator to break the ice and get them going and ask direct questions and so forth. That's the reason why I talk about us having these guys in our presence with just a few group, and we can do this. I can promise you that. So here is it. How do we get started? I will be reaching out to all parties before the end of the night. Okay. That's what I intend doing, right? We need to gather resources to fly those folks in. Where do we get the money from? I understand that's frozen. The account is frozen or whatever the case is. I don't know, but we must make this money available. If it has to be the Delaware chapter financing that, hey, we've lost money much, and we'd rather lose money now than to lose our union.
So that's
we need our sanity.
Will you say that's a prudent way to spend our money?
Well, for now, no, it's not. Notwithstanding, if we're going to hold our union, yes, circumstances have caused this.
Okay.
Right. So flying them in with majority of our organization members, including board members and others, most likely we should be able to prevail on that. We will.
I mean, the problem is not the board, it's not the elders.
Well, like I say, I'm not going to take side because I want to facilitate this process. I don't want to take sides.
Okay.
So finalizing this trip, and let's set up this meeting and meet face to face, and then we'll go through with all of the things that are listed, and we'll come up with action plans to move forward and go to convention. Now, if it's really true that our folks up there in Minnesota have booked a hall, we're going to appeal to them to please withdraw that. We can't enforce, because when we do these things, what happens is our people back home suffer. The essence of this organization is helping our people, and we're going to get them to projects, because I think we need to pay more attention to that. Our people can depend on the government. The government lied to us. Takonji, that's my favorite song. I would love to listen to that. Yes, we can depend on the government. Government cannot help our people. The diaspora Liberians have always been involved with development in that country. So we are very, very crucial to developing our country, our SAPO nation, and it's easy. Easy because number one, the SAPO forest is the most reserved grain forest in West Africa.
So one of your followers is saying, or series is saying, negotiation will be prudent provided if our brothers on the other side who embrace such initiative.
Thank you, Mr. Goa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Goa. Absolutely. And it will be embraced based on our negotiations. I think we've reached out earlier, and like I said, our folks, the Honorable Usaa and the Honorable Granko Gilio wants peace. Is the approach that matters. All right. So reaching out and proposing these views gonna work out. I can promise you that. Okay. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, let's leave the comments for now and just for let's do the interventions, please.
Yeah. So basically, if we can get to the point of bringing these guys down here within the next week or two, we'll move on from there. I think we'll be all set because I have the right questions in the place, and I don't want to brag, but anyway, we'll delve into that later, but I think I have the background to facilitate conflict resolution.
Okay. So basically what you're saying, you want to initiate another peace process.
It's not another peace process. We're going to expand on the existing one.
Okay.
We're going to expand on it. That's what's going to happen. Because we see a deadlock right now. And how do we move past that? I don't want to be the one to throw blames or jobs on anyone. All I want to see happen is have this union get back together and hold. I want that cohesiveness. I want it to gel so that we are able to save and help our people back when our people need us.
Yeah, I agree.
They're depending on us, not the government.
But Judu, there's a cliche that says that, when tension is high, you back or low bay. Why not excuse both forces? Let go a part of low bay and then we can read.
No, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. They did that the last time. That's why it lasted 7 years. Let us not make it in a year. I'm not biblical, but the very Bible tells you somewhere in the book of Psalms says when you and your fiancé, your wife, whoever first doing day before you go to bed at night, discuss it in bed and apologize to one another if you can. I respect that.
But that works. That works with spouse though.
Yeah, it does work. It does work too.
We don't live in the same.
No, we don't. But we are union. We are a union, so we do. In our hearts, we do live because we have a shared goal and we have a shared mission. So yes, we do.
Do we all recognize that?
Well, it's a good question, but I know I do, and I know you do, and I know the President Gilio does. I know the Honorable Usaa does. So definitely we do. All those are in leadership or stakeholders do.
All right, go. So, ladies and gentlemen, my special guest here is the Supreme Rabbi of the SAPO nation. He's bringing sense. I mean, I think you're following.
And I know you're not going to agree with me on a lot of these things, but guess what? They are going to work. I can guarantee you.
What I mean, Mr. Judu, what is your confidence based though?
So you see our practice behavior in the laboratory so long. So let me just give you a gist of my background. I don't like to say a certificate, a postgraduate certificate, because I did not apply to get my certificate. I didn't do my clinical work, and that's because I was already practicing as a clinician. So I have I studied a postgraduate certificate in applied behavior analysis from St. Joseph's University. Okay. And what that does is basically solves every life problem. That's why it's useful. Now, for example, the FBI has a behavior analysis team that solves crime. Okay. Behavior analysis can be applied to it's cross-cutting. We use it to modify behaviors. And that makes me a mental health clinician, not just mental health, but a clinician, resolving issues, being able to analyze issues, being able to conduct actual assessments of issues, and being able to diagnose issues and come up with interventions. So the background's there. I've practiced that since 2010.
I agree, but what works in the Western sector might not work in the African context.
It does. What happened is, so I had this course in human services. My background is in human services, and somewhere in the literature, it talked about the village system. Okay. Yeah. So you see, like the way you have comparative politics. So it's similar to that comparative service delivery system, and they talk about the village system, how it works in settings that are up to par with modernity, or that aren't developed, where traditions exist. You have to blend that Western and cultural or tradition approach. You can't leave one off. And our traditional approach today is bringing our people under the tree, and then using other approaches that have worked in the past based on how we engage, based on the language that we use.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm hearing acculturation from you, which is basically getting into a new culture and then
I also serve as a refugee or resettlement or senior manager.
The thing is, Judo, some of our brothers and sisters, they are wrongly acculturated.
Yes.
You know, so they took the bad side of the Western culture,
right,
and they jettisoned theirs. You know, so as a result, I mean, people will go on Facebook and insult our elders, which is against our culture.
Yes.
Right. So I don't know how is it possible.
But you still have that in Liberia. Those that haven't traveled and aren't acculturated with Western civilization to that extent, they do or disrespect our elders. So you always going to have, and then the behavioral analysis thing comes in. You always going to have behavior issues in communities and societies. It's always going to be a social problem. And then we talk about the 3 forms of service delivery, which is medical, public health, and human services. But we'll delve into that when we talk about projects and service delivery.
All right. So guys, let engage with the audience. Their comments here to see what they got something for you. Go in with that side. Okay, Johnny, I want question or something. There was a convention in North Dakota that decided a convention in Jacksonville, Florida. How can we turn our back on that? That's a question.
We're not turning our back on it. We are going to Florida, and that's why we want the group in Minnesota to come in. The executive. That's why we want executive to come in. They're going to come in. But
the guys are resolved that they are not.
I don't think they are resolved. No, I don't think they are resolved. I just think we haven't used the right approach. I don't think they are resolved. They're not. They are going to Florida if we're going to approach this issue the rightful way.
So the one of the board members in the account is not frozen.
Thank you for the
former president, Khaled Foley.
Thank you, Khaled. How are you? It's been a while. Wow. When did I last see you in Liberia, right? Keep doing what you're doing. Yes. Thank you for the clarity. That's something that was fed me, but I don't know whether it was told to me by the Honorable Green Gilio. I'm not going to say he said that. There are a lot of talks in the grapevine out there in the grapevine, so I'm not going to call names or buy into those, you know. But thank you for the clarity, Kadi. I appreciate it.
So Mr. Panto is saying, I think when you're talking about money and all those things, you want people to finish the administration to finish our money.
Well, do you prefer finishing your money and not having a union, or do you want a union? Uncle Panto, that's another fine gentleman. You see how so much we are intertwined related. Look, it's for the common good. We make decisions when conflicts occur. Conflicts are healthy for organizations. They are healthy for each and every one of us.
How are they healthy?
Because they make us to reflect and review ourselves and look in the mirror. They help us identify our flaws, our weaknesses and strengths. And we are able to recoup. We are able to say, you know what? I think Madison, you think you and I having class before we have class on several issues. Right. Sometimes I leave very pissed. I'll be like, I don't know who the heck is that man, but I had to get used to it because I know that's who you are. And at the end of the day, we still be the talk. It's healthy. And then I started to draw my boundary. Okay, I'm going to watch how I talk about this dude because I'm just saying those things happen. Those are the healthy behavior.
But I think in judo it works in a sophisticated setting or a group of people. So if you have a group of people that are emotional,
you remove the word sophistication. We have so many.
I'm not saying people are not.
We are all emotional, and current research has proven that the pandemic has increased mental health or depression in America, and we all know that. So there's a lot we're dealing with when we've been dealing with in the past months. So let's work together. Let's get along. We can't keep failing. We can't keep falling down and getting up. We can't keep repeating the same mistakes. That's insanity. The union is our sanity. We must hold. And in doing so, let's reach out. Let's put away our prides and egos. That's why I read when I first got on the show. Please.
All right. Let's see how it plays out. Just trying to see what other people want to call here, but let me get to our next talking point. I think you said you give a lot.
Yes, but people can always call. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, you give a lot of information over there, and hopefully the viewers, some of our leaders, they are listening.
Right.
All right. Let's see what we can transition to this, and then we'll have a quick commercial break after this.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So you talk about projects. I mean, in the middle of conflict, I mean, how can we undertake Project Judo, man?
So
are you realistic?
So I talk about projects. The conflict will be resolved. please, Sayopore, I want to be very careful how I enunciate your name so I don't get checked or corrected.
It's all right.
Okay. Yes, the conflict is going to get resolved.
You're speaking futuristically, though.
Well, I have reached out, and it's been a while since I reached out. I have listened to all sides, and everyone has the same vision. We all want this union to hold. Everyone says it. And saying it's not just that.
I don't think everybody is saying the Judu.
I think they're saying it.
Other people wouldn't be at this point if everybody is saying the same thing.
Yes, we wouldn't, but there's a conflict. We haven't resolved the conflict. That's why we are at this point. So let's resolve it. How do we resolve it? Bring people back into the room. Sit at the table, one-on-one as we're sitting, and we can resolve it. I'm telling you this.
You don't think there will be a fight, a fist fight? If you
that's why I'm going to be there to prevent that. I would make sure to make applicable my clinical skills so that we don't go that far. Trust me, it's not going to happen. Those are respectable gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. They are good people, fine, good guys. They're just not getting along because of whatever reason it is, whether it's constitutional breach or whatever it is, disrespect, they might call it. The bottom line is we must hold. And the only way we can do that is bringing in that team and sitting under the cola tree. We are Tucson.
All right, so let's talk about the projects and the impact, the direct impact.
Direct impact project. So now, having thanked both the executive and the board for projects, we now have a whole map. We have something that we can show back and say, look, this is what we did. The USA did that. However, having traveled to Liberia, having traveled to SINOE, having lived in Liberia, having lived in rural areas, look, our people are struggling. We have increased poverty. And the sad thing about it is they depend on us. So we must use our funds wisely. We must carry out smart investments that will make direct impacts. And what I mean by direct impacts or taking direct actions, for example, our people grow rice. It doesn't necessarily have to be rice. It could be cassava. We have enough money. We could clean up a farm, whether it's 100 acres, we can fund it. Or have our people grow cassava, put in your cassava mill. They can eat the cassava and sell the rest. We see these things happen in South America. That's how community development takes place. The government will come, clean up this area with machines, and the town or village will grow their food in general. And when they harvest, they take what belongs to them and they sell the rest. And the funds, the proceeds come back to the town.
It sounds good theoretically, but we don't have the infrastructure.
No, we don't have the infrastructure. So we're going to start little. We're going to start little. So, for example, we have rainy season coming up. Our people, when it rains, my brother, I live in SINOE briefly. When it rains, think about it. It's the most reserved forest in West Africa. When it rains, it pools. The rapper Tupac says, right? These people are squatting in bushes to go to the restroom. They are taking bath in the rain or on some mess where the water. I took bath in SINOE and I had to step over rocks in the bathroom because of the dirty water. You know how much diseases you get from over there? Those are where unsafe drinking water or garbage disposal and those little things are where our people get those everyday diseases from. So we need clean drinking water projects. We need to build toilets. I better thought we'll build toilets in all of our in all of our what is it called? Our towns and villages. Flush toilets. We need that. We need to provide students with maybe making sure that all the tuitions are paid out there in the villages. We need to ship things back. Let me give you an example, right? So we have a 501c3. That's one thing we haven't used. We have not utilized it. Not at all. We could apply for grants, and we are very capable of doing that. In addition to that, we just had a clinic or nursing quarter built. But guess what? This is what we could do. We could contact several agents or what is it called? Organizations here to help us. I'm about to pour those organizations' names. I had them up here. I have a couple of them. If I can put it, I'll just
been around the organization for a long time, man. Why have you not done some of these things?
Because I've never been invited to make that move.
You have to be invited, given the plight of your people.
No. I have to. And one thing a lot of people haven't noticed about me is you don't need a title to be a leader. I don't like titles. Maybe you haven't observed that. When you stick close to me, you notice it. I don't like titles. I've already done. So speaking of projects, you have over 10 organizations. I will have you post the list up. I told these guys before. That was a while back when the union first got together after the first problem or issues. You have a 501c3. There are organizations here that you just go to. For example, if you want medical equipment, I got names, list of them. You apply. You show that you have a 501c3. All they want to make sure is you've had it for at least 2 or 3 years. You make your medical equipment list. They will take you upstate New York and other places to those hospitals. They will stockpile a 40 container for you, and all you do is pay $6,000 or $7,000, and those equipment will be in Liberia, and you will find a way to distribute it in every clinic or whatever inside. Those things are simple. You understand? So there are different projects. There are other projects here where you give a couple of grand into clean drinking water. They have this program of funding. The NBA stars funded this. One NBA star. You pay about 60 grand to it, and guess what? Wherever village or town or county you have that you've chosen to carry out a project, they're going to match that with I don't know how many millions of dollars to provide safe and clean drinking water. Those things are around here and they exist, and we have the resources to engage the process. Why not go after these things? Why we keep depending on raising funds from conventions and meeting dues? Not with a 501c3. Let's come up with new vision. Let's change this thing. It's okay to party. It's okay to have the traditional piece of the organization within, because it's a job organization. We got to party, we got to dance, we got to raise funds. But let's think bigger. Or people are depending on how to send 10,000 and 5,000.
I want to put you here. You were one of the board members when we had a
briefly,
the local chapter.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I think it's the board of directors that can go out there. I don't know. Yeah, to kind of look for projects and those things.
It depends on what's defined in the Constitution. And I heard that when I was out of here, you guys now have a project team or what, I don't know how.
Yeah. SLBC is here for the
good.
Yeah, the project team.
Yeah, so you should be able to go after grants and go after those different things I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, but when you're speaking, you say we should use our funds wisely.
Yes.
The organization money wisely. Do you think the $30,000 we used to build a Nurses School, it was spent wisely? And you were talking about giving students scholarship. You were talking about drinking water, the lack of toilets and stuff like that. Do you think we'll spend the money wisely?
It's a very good question. Sad to say, from my personal experience, no. If you go back, I can lift a writing from Weird 2 Zone where I stated, I think a while back, the Honorable Lady Kade talked about building, I think, the same nursing or hospital or something. And I got involved and said, listen, our people won't benefit. If you guys go ahead, it wasn't directed to Kade because I think she actually, wherever they, but I said, if you guys, that's what prompted my responses. I said, if you guys go ahead and build a hospital, how many people benefit from this hospital? How do you operate it? What's the cost of operation after it's completed? And someone said, oh, we're going to turn it over to the government. Government cannot even sustain those different projects, whether they are hand pumps or toilets that our NGOs build. Government cannot sustain them. So why depend on government? Provide projects that every community, so tangibles, that people will benefit from when they can go to the hand pump and pump water, or go or in a bathroom when it's raining and take a shower or stool. Guess what? That's what they want to see happen. It will prevent the sicknesses and diseases. That's the public health module. Prevention. Now, what they took was the medical module, because medical module deals with diagnosis, symptoms, diagnosis, prevention. When you talk about service delivery, there are 3 forms of service delivery systems. The medical model, the public health model, and the human services model. The human services deals with the individual and his environment. So if you have a consumer who has issues, mental health challenges, guess what? He operates within an environment. You also have to include the environment when you provide service delivery. Now, when it comes to public health, lots of poor countries adopt the public health system when it comes to service delivery. Why? Because it's preventive measures to take. Okay. So if you build those bathrooms or clean hand pumps, guess what happened? Clean drinking water, they're not going to get diarrhea all the time. They won't. So we should have built toilets. We should have opened farms or then maybe grow the food. We should have supply. Look, we could have shoes drives. Or people don't have rain boots and things during rainy season. We could send tons of rainbows over there, bad brand new rainbows and ship them from China there too. I mean, via Alibaba. There's so many things we provide our people. Or those classrooms. There are a couple of villages I went into. They only have 6th grade. Or when the kids complete, where do they go to after the 6th grade? Where do they go to?
That's a big question.
They have to move to the city.
Right.
Why go to the city? These are things we need to start thinking about. We are up here, man. Come on, we live in the modern world. We can't do things the old way. We've advanced. There's so many sample guys that are gentlemen that are smart, males and females, very educated like you and myself, have different backgrounds. Let's utilize our skill set to make sure that our people benefit. The government can do anything as long as the government doesn't decentralize. Nothing better will be done. But we'll get to that.
Okay. All right. So, guys, again, that's the rabbi of the Sapo Nation, Mr. BESTMAN JUDUE is my special guest tonight. And we are talking about the conflict within the USAA, which is the United Sapo Association in Americas. We are talking about project. He gave us some ideas, what project, what we can do. Mr. JUDUE, you give the board of directors and the executive kudos for the next quarter, right? And I'll come back to that question.
But before you go back, I'm reading the screen. The one about Duncan Swab, my uncle's uncle.
Yeah,
Duncan.
I do read that question.
You read it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In North Dakota, that's Saturday convention in Jacksonville, Florida. How can we turn our back on that? We're not turning our back on that, Uncle Donkey. We just want the best for the union for now.
Yeah, so you say we should keep that question, which has to do with what is the economic impact?
So we can touch on it now.
Yeah, what is the economic impact of the next quarter when the people's houses are leaking and
so do we? Let me applaud.
So I mean, my question basically, why did you applaud the people?
No.
If you turn around.
Yeah, I had to.
Why?
I had to applaud them.
And you say
I have to be politically correct. I have to be politically correct.
No.
But that's the thing. You know why I applaud them? Let me be honest with you. You know why I applaud them?
No.
Since the inception of this organization is over 20 years old. There's been no tangible that we've provided back. When I say tangible, meaning something that we need
meaningful tangibles.
I agree.
Right.
But in as much as we have a tangible, let's appreciate it. We can build on that.
But if it's not impacting the people,
it has happened already. It's happening.
So
what can we do? The only thing we should make sure to do now is scrutinize.
So you agree with me? That's a geographical declaration. You agree?
Well, the term is too descriptive for me. It's too graphic.
We are just decorating the land with
no. It's going to work. We're going to make use of that property. It's ours. It's for the people. We build it. Let's enjoy it. Whatever the case is, let us just make sure that the next time we build on projects that we have.
The only way I think you'll benefit the people, if you ask me, maybe people go there and you rent it out.
Guest house.
Yes, like that. To rent it out to people and stuff like that. You know, maybe that's what. So the proceed or whatever will get.
Maybe a public library. I don't want a public library. I don't want the kids go in there to read and throw in some computers. You know, like something that the community will benefit from. Instead of having just 3 or 4 persons benefit. Maybe they might not even come from SINOE because we don't have that many healthcare workers. Some other folks from different countries come and live in there to provide service and live for us. You know, I understand. But we do have something that we can turn into. It's tangible, and I'm happy for that.
Okay. Even though you don't like it that much.
It's not about likeness here. I'm happy that we have something that we can say. The US, I can go back and say USAA did something here. I pay for a black Indian.
JUDUE is not about the structure of the team over there. We can reference it, but what is it doing for the people? That's the question.
Makes me to think, what is the road focus of George Weah governments doing for the people when they are hungry and starving and they can't get rice and beans that being rationed forever?
You work for the government, don't you?
Yeah, I once worked there, so we need to touch on that. I look forward to that. Let's touch on that. I did. I think there were some pluses.
All right.
Very meager though, so we'll touch on that.
Okay, all right. So guys, if you have questions, the line that is moving at the bottom, that got a number you can call. If you want to ask Mr. JUDUE a question.
But your Western expertise, I would like to read that.
Yeah, it was serious.
Sir, I beg to differ, but your Western expertise may not necessarily be applicable in the case of the United Sapo Association. However, we commend you for making yourself available in an effort to mitigate the ongoing conflict in our union. Our current conflicts need to be resolved based on the understanding of the Sapo African tradition. Well, I respectfully agreed. But I think this Western expertise once worked when you were separated for 7 years, and that's why I said it must be blended, and that's why
so it was
Western
expertise you used when you solved that problem.
Both interventions.
Okay.
They both met under the tree, and now that tree was in my house. They were met the weird two zone, and they broke cola there, and they sat down and shook hands there, and they joked and took pictures. And when they walked out of there, the conflict was resolved. So, sir, please pay keen attention, okay? But I respect your point of view. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the man himself using the Western philosophy.
Yeah, they ain't saying that it won't work.
No, man. All right, guys. All right, let's see what we got here next for our discussion. Welcome if you're just joining us. My special guest again is Mr. BESTMAN JUDUE.
Oh, someone's from Greenville. Can we say hi to them?
A lot of people. Let me go through the comments.
Wow, I would love to see comments from those in Liberia.
What is the message today, brother? I hope everything is well. That's Jackson from North Dakota.
There you go. Hi, Jackson. Thanks for tuning in.
Watching from the Alfonso from Morovia. You're watching from Morovia.
Hi, Alfonso Pine. Thank you for watching.
The CEO for the SARPOLAND Nation, Cody Morris, is also.
Honorable Cody. How are you, sir?
Yeah,
Honorable Bill Pine.
Yeah.
Shaido. Uncle Swa. Uncle Panto. Paul Yimpan Jr. How are you guys? Thanks for tuning in. But I think we can go forth.
Okay. All right, let's see.
Do you think a break will be necessary before jumping into governmental issues?
Yeah, we can do a quick commercial and come back.
So then can you do that song for me, please?
Oh, you want okay, let's see. Let's see, guys. The guest has to be certified, yeah. And so let's get something out here. He wants Takon J, right?
Yes. I like the question you asked. You work for the government. That's interesting. That kind of spice up the conversation, you know. Let's put some red meat on the bone.
What's the song again?
They lied to us.
Okay. La Takunte.
I love the scenery in the background. It reminds me of when Liberia will actually look like that. Hopefully, the new city, Bali City that the President Weah's building will look like that. I'm hoping though, because I want my president to succeed.
Okay. All right, let's see what Takun has here for us.
They lied to us. Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. I can take my glass over
That's fine. That's fine. Guys will be back. Quick commercial here. Let me see something here.
Okay, let's go. If people lie to us, they come and betray us. We're tired with the promises that left us to all our damages. We're tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now you need to deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us. Yeah. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to be? We just tell you.
Thanks for the hospitality, by the way. I appreciate the wine. What is that? Moscato wine or what?
Yeah, it's just 30, man.
That's great. Yeah. Very tasty.
Why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask.
Thank you, sir. The people lied to us. The government betrayed us. The people fool us, though.
The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not they don't want to trust. My people don't want to hope on. My hope that I have been broken. Telling you, so where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the doors that they say they could have put? But they too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. See the reason why we
that's a generational song, though. It's going to persist for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years if we don't change our yeah, I think we'll do it.
Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation.
That's how that,
You got nothing to show.
was my stepping stone to that.
So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people laugh us. The government betray us.
All right, guys. All right, welcome back to the Voice of SINOE. My special guest is Honorable Supreme Rabbi of the Sapo Nation. That's BESTMAN JUDUE, my special guest this evening. G, welcome back again.
Thank you very much, sir. And thanks for the wine. It's so tasty.
No problem.
I appreciate it.
No problem. So I was listening to the song and it said they lie. Who lie?
The government lie. And not this present government, but past governments and present.
Hold on, there's a contradiction. Not this government, the past government.
Not just this government.
Okay, not
past
just
and present.
Okay.
Past governments and the present government. And they
lie.
continue to lie to us.
All right, put that in context for us.
Like the songwriter or musician said, where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the bridges?
But somebody will say that University of Liberia, they got AMU, they got all the various schools in the country. So what
education,
are you talking about?
we have very poor quality education.
Oh, so now
I get so passionate and excited when education comes up, the discussion of education. Malcolm X once said, education is a passport to our future, unquote. I might not paraphrase it rightfully. So if you may know, I serve as a volunteer school principal in Liberia.
Okay.
And I can tell you that the education system in Liberia is a trash. I'm sorry to say so, no disrespect. When I lived in Liberia in 2013, let me just end. Let me just land. We just let me land.
Yeah, sure.
2013, when I lived in Liberia, the president, when she declared reading week, I donated over 10,000 textbooks. Even the school demonstration benefited from that. I say this to say that the president at that time, a Harvard-trained graduate, called her education system that was ran by a graduate from University of Pennsylvania, UPenn, another Ivy League, called it a mess. She was unable to face that system. And what do you think about now? That's not going to happen. That's why you have the high school graduates running our counties as superintendents.
But JUDUE,
and that's why the counties look at that. Where's the development?
You just told me
what's the smart development to education?
JUDUE, you say you are involved with the education system in the country.
And that made me to identify the challenges.
Yeah, so, I mean, with your expertise, with your knowledge, why didn't you do something about it?
I did something. I attended a lot of meetings. Let me go local first, and then I will talk about how I got involved with the same system while working with the late Honorable MOBUTU NYENPAN, because I managed his watch portfolio, may his peace be to his ashes. So let me go back. When I served in whatever capacity, I'll give you a couple of challenges. Number one, I found out that there were high school graduates teaching students in high school. That is unacceptable. I don't care if you even have a C certificate. You should not be teaching students in high school when you're a high school graduate. Not even in kindergarten, you should be your aide. You and myself know that. Those are things that are happening. I had to hire 3 bachelor's degree holders that had to rotate the schedules just to meet the needs of some of my students. Those were some of the challenges. You have the same thing on the advanced education level or higher education. You have bachelor's degree holders teaching folks who are pursuing bachelor's degree. What sense does that make? The majority of professors are teaching have bachelor's degree. Are you going to teach someone?
I don't agree with this adage. It says that when the capable are not available, the incapable should take charge. So if you don't have the capables,
there are capables available.
But they
when
are
you refuse, I
insufficient.
think it should be said. No, they're not insufficient. I think it should be said when you refuse. I think we actually said when you refused to reach out to the capable because of whatever reason that's clouding your mind or vision,
right now,
then you will take the
we
capable.
ask you right now to say, let's send you to Pedal Camp, for example, to go teach our children. Would you do it?
Oh, you know, Pedal Camp, we do it. Let me just say this, and I want to apologize. Let me use this medium to apologize to the people of Pedal Camp. My father, I was born in Montserrat, UWA Hospital, first on Mercury Street, I believe, according to my mom, and so on and so forth. Father never took me to Saddle. I don't speak the dialect, and that's my greatest regret. And I promised myself that I would learn that dialect before I leave.
Yeah, quick correction. I don't want to call our language dialect. It's our language.
Our language.
Yeah.
You're right. I'll take that. I know where you're coming from.
Thank you.
I don't speak my language, my mother's tongue. because I don't consider English to be my mother tongue. I don't speak my mother tongue, and it's my regret. And I pray that I learn it before I depart this earth. Okay, so I took myself to SINOE when I discovered myself. I left from here and went to SINOE 2010. And when I went with the mindset of giving back to the point where I took all 13 or 1500 chainsaws steel for them. I didn't take things to distribute. I took steel chainsaws so that they use it to maybe fix the bridges I go to the town.
Right.
And they did something good. They built a flower hut for themselves. I gave it to those guys to empower them. I wanted them to learn how to fish. So I took myself to SINOE. My parents didn't take me to SINOE. I discovered myself. And while there, I made promise. I went back. I went to Liberia twice in 9 months when I did that. I went there 2010 November. I think April or something like that. And on 2011 January. The reason why I did that was I made a second promise that I was going to ship things to that village. And I have all proof where I shipped. Technically, 80% of that container were goods for the people in SINOE. I flew to Liberia to get those goods. And for whatever reason, whoever shipped those things tricked me. And that container did not come out there after 5 years. 2016, I think it came out a year before I moved to Liberia. So those were things that hindered my engagement with the people. So while they are out there, I want to say I'm sorry to y'all. I sent a lot of messages out there and I apologize saying that, hey, I could not deliver because I got defrauded. I have all records. I even moved back to the States and paid $3,790 for a bill of lading to get those things out. And I still couldn't get it. They are overstaying in the port. They had accumulated or accrued storage fees. So I couldn't get them out.
I did a question from Mr. Maya Mondable. Mr. Judo, what kind of method?
That's my older cousin. How are you, cousin Mike?
Yes, what method will you use to resolve the conflict between the administration and the board of directors of the? I think you thought he came in late.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my cousin. Let me speak to that. Cousin Miles, how are you? It's been a while. What I said, and will be very brief or give a snippet of it, is that we will have we would like to see the executive kindly fly down to meet with the board and the others, and we're going to have a facilitating group that will help the process. Let us sit under the tree, let us discuss our differences, and let us apologize to each other if we have to, and let's move forward just to keep this union together.
Let me see what your man McCarvin is saying here.
McCarvin.
All right, so I think let me see.
Every African country.
Let me go back to that comment.
Yeah. You can play this song. Almost every African country it will resonate except Rwanda. Thank you, sir. McCarvin, you are right. The system has produced a lot of outstanding graduates. How can it be said to be a mess? That's a beautiful question. It's a good question for Ellen Johnson Sally. She said that 2013.
You repeated it though.
And I had to repeat it because I got a dose of it by teaching. Not only teaching, it was so embarrassing that I had numerous experiences wherein college graduates could not write a fitting sentence or read a paragraph. I'm not going to call names. I'm not going to call institutions. And I don't even want to go about pointing out some of our own brothers who have only a bachelor's degree and they're teaching over their universities, saying that they've obtained degrees from up here or whatsoever. Those things should not be happening.
So, but Mr. Judo, when you taught for a little bit, did you improve the reading skills?
Absolutely. So let me tell you some of my pluses. So the school that I ran, I opened a reading club, and I opened a computer lab with 21 pieces of textile. The reading club, the books that were shipped that time to Pelican, that didn't reach those books because they wanted books for the school. I did a full needs assessment and asset mapping when I first visited Pelican. So there were different things that were in that container. Those books went to the school. Almost every student could take a textbook, and you had the materials, the reading materials for the teachers, and it just could not even affect those materials. I had to teach them how to write lesson plans and teach them classroom management skills. There were times when I did supervision in classes while teachers were teaching. I would walk into a classroom and see misspelled words all over the board. And I would have to pull them out and tell them, no, those are misspelled words, those are run-on sentences. Some of them would want to argue. And the system is also defrauded with teachers. I had to fire like 3 teachers sending test home, take home test, only to get paid.
But that means you didn't train your teacher before you put her in the classroom.
Well, I met them there. They were recruited.
So you were the what? What was
I took in as a principal after the first principal left.
So you met them and you
and that's why I maintained some. I didn't maintain all.
Okay.
Some went out of door instantly. I maintained some and some had to go.
But
some got fired for junkiness.
Didn't you increase the unemployment rate to doing that?
No, I did not.
You did?
Because I had other teachers coming in part-time, three bachelor's degree holders coming in part-time to teach. I also had a French teacher I hired that was paying on my pocket also. And the janitor, we added an extra janitor to the school. So I think I did increase the we added a crossing guard to very briefly, to come in. There was kids that I gave a lot of scholarships. We call them wards in Liberia. So because I wasn't taking money from the school, I had kids on my scholarship that were coming in and helping to clean up and do other things. So there was some impact.
Let's see what Evangel James Carter has for you.
Hey, the nursing quarter is built already. It will house some nurses. Of course, we said that. It is not an economic waste as insinuated. I don't think it's being insinuated. What matters is how we can use the money we have on hand and make some meaningful developments in our district. I think Mr. Judo will bring some understanding to the ongoing conflict. I'm observing some of the points people. Paul, thank you very much, sir. You like you said, it's already built. We have to move on. Just invest smartly this time around. Understanding to the ongoing conflict. I'm observing some of the points people.
Sorry. All right, so guys, again, that's my special guest, Mr. Judo. He's bringing a lot of information and a lot of knowledge tonight to the discussion. And so we're talking about reflecting on the pro-poor government. Is the government actually pro-poor?
No.
Why I say that?
The government is not for the have-nots. It's not pro-poor.
Judo, phrase. Are you objectively, criticizing the government?
Yes, I am.
No,
because
the guys building
part of this.
The president building public housing all over the county.
Very good. Putting concrete in jungles. Very good. That's fine.
What do you call that? In the interest of somebody living in hot, and this man is building a lead concrete building.
Those are legal ones, and we do appreciate them. But we could also look at the standard of them and look at for example, the materials that were built with, maybe the windows and things. I don't think those are windows. But let us not question that. Let's appreciate the president for what he did. I love to appreciate people for what they do. But when you say pro-poor, there are other progressive stands that are some of us anticipated when the president took over. For example,
go ahead.
For example, when the president took over, we anticipated seeing all frontline, what is it called, workers get increase in pay. That include teachers. That include nurses, that includes firefighters, that include police officers. I think it was only paramilitary and the military that were included. When you do that, you address pro-poor issues, right? For example, pro-poor, we had an epidemic. Over $12 million, we have an epidemic. Over $12 million was invested or put forth for ration food for our people for COVID. Where's the food? We learned that only 5 counties benefited. What happened to the rest of the people?
Judo, your own.
Is that pro-poor?
Judo, your own organization, USA, $10,000 were allocated for the people in.
But those are things that need to stop.
They didn't get it.
But those are things that need to stop. Those are things that need to stop. How do you employ accountability and transparency within the organization?
My point, Judo, is, the organization you are in is practicing the very thing that you are pointing your finger at the government.
Okay.
So streamline your organization first. Hold those people that did not send the ration to the people accountable.
Because we now have conflict and our intent to engage the process to help bring peace to this union, I don't want to take any side. That's the only reason why I'm not pointing fingers and not taking side. And I don't think that's healthy for this discussion. Because if I take side here, pick up the phone tomorrow and call the Honorable Green or call the Honorable Issa Sabi, he's not going to take me seriously. And that's the reason why I chose not to take side. I want to see this conflict resolved and let's move forward.
You spoke to that issue earlier. I think my Calvin can't late. You man spoke to the conflict already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking about education, the government, and leadership and whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
Right. So speaking of the government, after serving for quite a few months, I was called, peace be to his ashes, late MOBUTU NYENPAN, to serve him. And I briefly worked with him as the water sanitation and hygiene technical focal point or policy advisor to the minister for 10 months. And during that time, what I learned was government, Liberia government. I work with the biggest ministry that carries the biggest budget. And I was not only involved with managing the watch portfolio, but I work in different capacities within the minister's office.
You said watch portfolio?
Water, yeah, the
okay.
UASH,
okay.
Which for short, it's water sanitation.
Okay.
So there were other issues that I did help address, and there were on several occasions I had to represent the minister at minor occasions that he could not attend because of his engagements. So I'm humbled to say that I was fortunate to serve. And one thing the late minister always told me was, "Judu, come here, sit down. You know something?" I'm trying to talk like because I'm
that's fine.
Say, you know something, Judu, you don't understand how government works in this country. It doesn't work the way you guys work, but it's different. I want you to learn it. Just sit and watch. MOBUTU always told me that it was true. There's no system over there. We don't have a system. And the only way Liberia can change or develop is to overhaul the entire system. The system we use, government Liberia used to deliver or provide service delivery must be overhauled, must be changed.
So Judah, if you were given...
just 1 minute. Yeah. I heard my Calvin talk about graduates. And so many people go to government offices every day and have nothing to do. Only 10%, maybe approximately 10% rather do actually work at those ministries. The rest of them just hang around, beg, because stuff. That's how they get out. That's how they get a daily meal. Those people should be cross-trained and deployed back into the government, in the workforce differently. And people don't have skills. And in the next 30 to 50 years, Africa will have the highest youth population. We will not be able to compete. The only way we can develop that country, my brother, is investing smartly into education first before any other sector. I can guarantee you.
So, but when you say education, what exactly are you talking about? Vocational, academic?
Every form of education.
Okay.
For example, we live in Liberia. Look at our homes around that we live in. The majority of these homes were built out of wood. Am I right or wrong, sir?
You're right.
Yes, they were built out of wood. We have the most preserved rainforest in SINOE, and we're not making use of the woods to build our homes. The Summer Association about or $20,000, $15,000 or Summer Association or what is it called? Sawmill. Get all guys, trained guys from LIC and treat them how to use power tools like those drills and things we use here. I got training manuals and things now with drills and all. Train them, and guess what? Those guys will be able, depending on the amount of guys that you train and hire, those guys will be able to build homes every day. A home will come up right there in SINOE. We'll be able to put our people into affordable housing. So it's just being idealistic and futuristic and innovative. And that we don't have. Then we have the president giving us superintendents, no disrespect to you, honorable chair or number or chair or lead chair, but basically those guys don't know what the heck they are doing. You think the developed world.
What is the superintendent missing?
Well, let me say this: you think in the developed world, a superintendent over there is like a state governor. You will have one of the oldest counties in Liberia. You have with the most reserved rainforest in West Africa, with airspace and rivers and seas. And you sit there and can develop that place waiting on government to hand you money, to hand out money. We should decentralize our country.
Yeah, so
let our superintendents get on and look for investors and so forth.
Deep into SINOE politics and all of that, I wanted you to, I mean, you are giving a little your experience with the former.
Oh yeah, Monfla. Yeah, I always call him Monfla. Yeah. So yeah, let me just reflect on it because I've never had the opportunity to speak out openly since his death. So yes. Monfla, I got to know Monfla when I was in the, I think, 7th grade in St. Patrick's. And Monfla came to the house one day to my father, BESTMAN JUDUE Senior. And my old man asked him,
did you have the opportunity to ask what that word Vla means?
I did, because I don't speak the data. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we had a good working relationship. So,
okay.
So Vla came in, and that day, this is the first time I met Vla, and my father said, usually my father and I outside to interact. I was 14, 13, 12, 10, 13 by then, 7th grade. And he would always say, from the time I went to middle school, he would say, when he's drinking, he would always pull just a glass of beer from me. Okay. So this is a joke I had on Vla. When he came in that day, my dad and I was sitting watching video and drinking. I had a little glass of beer. He had his beer. And he said, Vla, what you doing? Like, meet Vla. Vla, what you drinking? And Vla goes, Fanta. And I'm like, okay. So I go, he said, best get Flaton to drink. I go and get Fanta. So that joke always be on with you. I'll be like, Fla, why you not drinking Fanta? Shut up, Judu. Small Judu. Shut up, small Judu. Yeah, so that's what happened. Vlad got me in there, and the goal for the WASH, when I took over WASH portfolio, the Ellen government had a secretariat on it. However, before leaving, it was a paperwork in the pipeline, a bill that was meant to establish a WASH commission that would provide oversight of water sanitation and hygiene activities within the country. And we immediately established that. And because that WASH secretariat was under the Public Works Ministry, and the Minister of Public Works provided oversight of it, he was the chairman of the board of directors for WASH. So I had the opportunity of being the first meeting scribe for all of the board of directors meetings. I arranged them. I practiced for the commissioner, in fact, Bobby Whitfield. I practiced for him. He was in there, but I did the right thing. He should have been, according to the bylaws or whatever, he should have been the meeting scribe or his executive director. But I practiced for them, and every resolutions that came up from that meeting, I drafted, and whatever letters that were to be sent anyway. However, our goal was to make sure that government take charge of the WASH sector, because all along we noticed that UNICEF was the biggest funder. How can you give your water sanitation and hygiene sector to an NGO to run? Never put a penny into it. Any government never did. There was no budget line allocation for that. We pushed that. The first, I think a little over $83,000 was given to the commission, and that's how they were able to secure office space and pay the employees for the first 3 months. That happened under the WIAS administration. That's a plus. Kudos, right? So there were some pluses. So government now, I think, has taken charge, and they are able to at least allocate something in the budget annually. However, the WASH commissions being dormant, we see so many issues, WASH-related issues, and it's just not going well.
All right, yeah, but that's very informative. But I want you to tell me, what sort of leader was the late MOBUTU? What would you say? What sort of leader was he?
He was charismatic.
Okay.
He was a people's person. He could easily connect with anybody. MOBUTU never frowned. MOBUTU sat openly and hung out with everyone. People felt connected to him. He knew how to identify with his people. MOBUTU was a progressive. That's how I got to know him, because my late father was a progressive. Through my father, I got to know Bacchus, the late Bacchus Marty personally, and other guys. What is Deacon Carter, Dr. Marcus Down, a couple of guys across there, Musa Dane, the now Minister of Justice. I mean, those are guys I know personally. That was true. My father, because he was a progressive.
Okay.
You know. So yes, and Vlad followed that trend. That's how I got to know him. So I saw him as a progressive, but his untimely death, man, sort of hurt. Vlad served SINOE, and
so would you say he left some progressive footprints behind?
That's a good question. As senator or as
in every capacity that he
yes,
served?
he did. Yes, he did.
Okay.
Under Vlad's leadership, there were a couple of projects that came to fruition at City Hall. At Public Works. Those were projects that I did see. I participated in. I conducted assessments along with other guys, and yes, so he did. There were tangibles, deliverables, I would say. As far as being a senator, I did not closely monitor him, but yes, his people still love him. So there were some pluses. It's just that senators and representatives back home don't do much. They don't do that many, things for the people back home. And I believe it has to do with the system. When we decentralize, we will be able to evenly distribute our resources for wealth. That we haven't done.
Let's play with decentralization a little bit here. I think during Ellen's time that was done. When they had the social development fund and the county development.
Well, it wasn't done. It was engaged. The process was engaged. There's more to there's more to decentralization. But that was a start. That was a good start.
Right.
And the governance commission was to provide guardians and steps in decentralization. We haven't gone the first step in decentralization.
Yeah, but the first step, if we don't get it right, why make it wider though? Because the idea of the county development funds for the people to get the money and to do something, and when you find out even in your own county, some of the leaders they embezzle money.
Yes. Very sad.
Yeah. So you think the problem in the country is decentralization or just the people, the lack of
what the people lack is ethical values. Whatever they lack is ethics. Period. Like I said, there's no system in Liberia. No one's held accountable for anything. Impunity is the thing of the day. So until we can fix that, Liberia's gonna be like that forever. I'm sorry to say so. And we don't want things looking at that or going that way.
Would you say Liberia needs democracy or a different form of government or something that will fit the environment? Do we need a Western democracy in Liberia?
Thank you for asking that question. You see, there's the same problem. Let's look at development. We see our countries or developing nations or poor countries adopt development policies that are not tailored to the needs and wants of their populations. That's the reason why lots of those developments rather than occur, or if they do, they are not sustained. And that's why it goes back to education again. Show me one research university in Liberia. It's not one other than CARI, the agriculture institution.
Dude, I hate to interrupt, but when you talk about education, right? I'm not anti-education. I'm pro-education.
I know.
But the educated people if you look at your country from 1847 up to the point, the strategic ministries in the country or practically everywhere, they are so-called educated people running those places.
Yeah, but they had a system. They had a system that didn't work. They had a system.
But they are educated people. Why they couldn't?
Because we don't have this research thing. Let me tell. Let's talk about research here. In America, for example, the government don't just, even local governments, they don't just make policies. Policy formation. It comes down to gathering data. It comes down to discussion. It comes down to the needs and wants of the people. First of all, you don't even know how many Liberians. Let's talk about the Liberian government sharing rights. Do you know how many Liberians in each home? You don't even have addresses on those homes. How can you account for giving everybody rights? How many people in Tupo Road, if you're going to provide, if you're going to build bathroom with public toilets? How many people will you build it for? How many will you build? We don't know how many people lack of bathrooms. I'm just saying, we need research to inform our development policies and not depict those policies that are being turned in or I'll give you an example, being proffered by United Nations and other INGOs. They are doctored. They are compromised. For example, the same watch, let's go back to it. So the watch sector has something called the work plan review. So every 6 months, all of the sector actors, UNICEF, the biggest funder, you got Irish Aid, you got Water Aid, we all come together and sit down and discuss the work plan. We see how much money is there, how much money being spent, how is it allocated. The very first meeting I went to, let me tell you how discouraging and embarrassing it was. These guys, I look at the budget and how it was allocated. Then I raised my hand, introduced myself. They had the deputy UNICEF boss there. I said, sir, why is it you have all of this money in this budget, but there's nothing put aside for flooding? For flooding. You know what the secretary had, but then the guy who was the secretary told me? Before the gentleman could talk, he literally interrupted and said, we don't experience flooding in Liberia. I swear to God. But guess what happened? As God who happy. I had to believe in God. But in 3 days, it was a rain that poured in Liberia. We had to go. That rain flooded the whole city for 2 to 3. Even the president was in there digging water out. That place got flooded. And then UNICEF came.
Put that as
yeah. So that they could see that they needed it. Because you know what happened? That Saturday morning, the UNICEF boss called MOBUTU. MOBUTU said, Judo? I said, yeah. He said, I'm on a road assessment. I don't have time for that. You go and meet those guys, because every time I leave a meeting, I would do what you call a debriefing. I would write a memo to the press, to the minister, to let him know what took place. I went and met with those guys. The UNICEF boss came along with his deputy who was in a meeting. You know what he said? He said, oh, excuse me, so this is the gentleman who talked about flooding. Why did and we spoke, why did I talk about flooding? I had guys come from Nuclear Town. 3 to 4 different occasions. Every time it rains in Nuclear Town gets flooded instantly because all the drainages are clogged. They're throwing trash all over. When they battled MOBUTU told me, said, look, you're going to my watch guy. That's me, what do you intend doing? I said, let's carry out assessment. I took a team from Public Works and we toured the whole Nuclear Town. What happened? Why it happened? When it was time for us to move in there with those trucks and clear out the people place, we were pushed aside. It never happened. Those were some of the challenges we face. So, you know, it's a problem.
Yeah, but Judy, you spoke of data, you know. We don't
Collecting
collect
data.
Yeah, we don't collect.
No, we don't collect data like that. If we do, it's compromise. Like I just spoke with my little sister. My little sister's a very good project.
Yes, let me make my point. You have for example, on the angle of corruption, right? You have the GAC, you have the LACC.
Yeah, you know that it's compromised.
No,
we saw different what they call people murder around here.
Yeah, my point is the guys that do the work, they collect the data. You're talking about data collection, right? The guys will go and do the work. I mean, they got a bunch of reports out there.
But you know what to do with the data they collect?
No.
And I have had evidence. Those data are now recorded on tablets and sent over to a different team overseas that triangulate them, right? Triangulate them and process them into forming policies. They don't even have the skill set on the ground to do triangulation of data collected. One of my younger sisters worked for INGO. She gets a lot of contracts. Those are things that we're doing. And can you imagine you had one of the government sector lying to the people, to this international partner that they have provided certain services? I think it was LACY. Had they done so and done that, and the guys lie saying that these kids weren't doing it right, this group wasn't doing the right full collection of data. And that was wrong. They did better than the LACY that was in charge. Yeah,
so I think, Jude, what is
so they lack the research skills.
At least for me, what is missing in Liberia is implementation of what is being gathered. I mean, the people can get the facts, they can get all the document, they get the evidence, and no implementation.
So that's impact. And then why the implementation process fails is because the majority of Liberians lacks what you call capacity, human capacity. The folks don't have skills. I'm sorry to say so. Not too many folks have skills in implementing different things. They come on as instructions that you give folks in Liberia to execute. It's a problem. You must break them down into smaller tasks. I'm telling you, for college graduates, you must break them down into smaller or simpler tasks. You have to take from A to B, from B to C. Instead of saying moving from A to Z, they're going to ask you, how am I moving to A to B before moving to C? There's no skill set. Like I said, people go to work every day, but only 8 or 10% work. The rest of the guys just hang around doing nothing around the ministries.
So let's talk about Sano County here. We're talking about Sano County and all of that. And you kind of took a little stab at the superintendent.
Yes, I did.
I mean, what is he not doing right?
We expect the superintendent to be innovative. The superintendent is the president of that county.
But what specifically you want him to do that he's not doing?
We want to see more social impact projects.
But he doesn't have the capacity financially, though.
Well, let him look for the money. And don't depend on, that's an issue we talk about, finding savvy people to run government, skillful people. He doesn't have to wait on government. He's a superintendent of the county. He can go out and find investors. He can lobby.
But Judah, I think you understand Liberian politics.
But put the right people in place.
Because once you start doing that, it will say you're trying to succeed, and I mean, you are going beyond your boundaries and stuff like that.
What to hell with that? Excuse my French.
You'll be out of job if you say that.
Then so be it. Let me be out of job. I cannot have the most reserved rainforest in the world, and I build a jungle, or concrete jungle in my home, which will live in nice, decent homes. And it costs me less to train people and put a sawmill down and to put people in the homes. I should not have the most reserved rainforest in West Africa, where there are not only indigenous species but exotic species, and can come up with some tourism plan to get people in there. You have the beaches. You have a very rich soil, food grown in silo. The soil is freaking rich. What are they doing with the soil? I learned the past administration, Honorable TJ, my father, very good friend too. I know Honorable TJ distinctly.
But what do you guys call the people honorable though?
Dishonorable honorables. I'm sorry to say so. No disrespect to you, Honorable TJ. I call the entire Senate dishonorable honorables.
Why you put the two?
Because they are all compromised and corrupt.
Dishonorable
honorables. They are not honorables, they are dishonorable honorables. There you go with Prince Johnson resigning, and I think Vanessa Sherman should be pressured to resign. These guys are jokers. It's because of then you have the executive making mistakes and they don't want to.
But you are blaming the lawmakers. Why don't blame the people?
It's the first
those guys were sent over there by the people.
Because
so
our people are limited. They can't make informed judgments.
You don't think that's strong words to use on the people?
No disrespect. It is when it comes to making informed judgments as far as who do we put in there to advocate for us.
Let's be practical and realistic here. I mean, let's look at the tribal dichotomy in the country, right? You have Prince Johnson, for example, quote unquote, fought to protect people.
Oh yeah, he's one of my worst. Yeah, he's the worst. Because I'm not cutting you off.
Yeah.
I watched this gentleman murder 5 market women, shot them in the head, executed them, opened it up in Fort Junction. I was 14 years old at the time when the war broke up. He murdered them. I also watched this gentleman snatch my childhood friend, my 14-year-old cousin, off the street and turn her into whatever you. And I don't want to speak because people who know me might be able to identify her, but it's individual. It's an officer in the U.S. Army. Can you imagine that? And you have this gentleman passing around calling him, you know, damn honorable, you're dishonorable, and let you stop the Bible nonsense. You should be prosecuted. We don't do that in modern days. Prisoners should be prosecuted and be behind bars. You're a criminal. You're a rapist. You're a murderer.
Let's see what Mr. Manu has a question or something to say over there. The year is on the brink of having 2 conventions. That is administration hosting Minnesota and the board hosting in Florida. How could you use your influence to get both sides to make it? I mean, I think
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry that you're lit up. Yeah. So what's going to happen is I wish I had shared my slides with you. You could have shared those slides because I did.
Yeah, sure. You can send it to
PowerPoint. I was sending to you. Honorable Moneybo, I don't want to go back and forth repeating myself. I will send the slides. I will email the slides to the Honorable Sayo Pode.
I mean, I'm a regular man. The honorability or the title.
Yeah, okay.
Sayo Pode.
Or rather, one say you don't need your title to be a leader, so you fall within that. I understand. That's good. You know. So yes. Back to what we were talking about.
So my cousin has something to say over there.
Yes, and that's what make them dishonorable honorables.
So the house. So is it the house? What makes the house honorable though?
The house
by itself is
the house is filthy. It's no longer sacred.
The people that make the house
honorable. Yes.
Yeah.
And if the behavior is not right, the house is not. It's desecrated. It's not right. We watch the White House. The house that gets desecrated by what's the name I want to say? Let me not just use any names, but low informed voters. We watched that happen. They were manipulated. And those are similar things we see happening all day. When it's election time, people buy rice, people pay the kids' school fees and share money out just to make sure that
is that a bad political tactic?
Very bad.
Why is it bad?
Because when they buy votes and get into the house, guess what happens? They don't give a heck. And my younger brother explained this to me. It happened in the presence the back then speaker, Eric Starler. Ellen Johnson said the former president had visited somewhere in the district and he was president. Somebody had openly calling out for being a thief or corrupt. You know what? We know my brother said, he said he was literally standing next to him. He walked on and said, that's why I bought your vote.
But Judo, if somebody is hungry, there's a mother here, no food for the child, and somebody brought a bag of rice.
Yeah, that's what we see happen.
They shouldn't take that?
They're going to take it. And then they eventually going to make poor choice or decision simply because.
So, but are they wrong to vote for that person, though?
Well, or in terms of the benefits, they are wrong because that person will not deliver. But I meant to add one thing to serving under the minister NYENPAN as watch policy advisor. One thing that was implemented, a lot of people dogged the We Are government for was people said, and it is true that they did not audit, but I audited the existing WASH secretary that served under Ellington Sirleaf government. I still have that report up to today's date, and over $600,000 went unaccounted for. And I did that specifically because we had to inform decision making moving forward with the commission, since we were absorbing members of the secretariat into the commission. We didn't want to make those mistakes, so we did audit them, and the report was up. People got angry with me on that. I can tell.
So was that part of your job description?
Well, no, it wasn't. Technically, my job description was to facilitate the minister in any way in terms of watch policy advices, and I did, and that became part of my job description or TOR simply because it was needed to inform decision making as far as structuring the newly established commission. So we had to do that. It was when we found out that financial issues were the problem. So you have to tighten up. You have to account for money that's being given to you. That was the essence of that. That's why people audit. It's not so much of denigrating others or other leaderships, but it's about being able to make informed decisions, making forward after taking over a place. You audit it and you see the lapses, and you tighten up on those lapses. That's what happened. And beyond the streams that exist, but you don't just walk in and don't edit. Then guess what? There are existential threats that are going to take you down. Right. Eventually, you look bad in terms of governance.
All right, Julie's been on for a while now. I think I got 2 hours for you, and we.
Wow.
Yeah, we are supposed to.
Oh, I appreciate you. I didn't know where I was going this far.
So before we let you go, though, I want you to, reflect a little bit, education background. Let the audience, let the people know who is talking. Wait, what kind of, Ivy League school you went to?
No, I did not do Ivy League. But guess what? We've challenged several Ivy League graduates. We won't leave them, and we'll continue to. Going to Ivy League doesn't make you distinct from others, It's just a name. It depends on the individual. The connections there, it definitely does. Yeah. The connection networking is there. I agreed. So, speaking of education background, wow. So I would say my background, I have a very diverse background. First, let me just start from where I started. I went to very good schools growing up. I did St. Patrick's, B.D. Harris after.
But you said the system is a mess, though, and you call that good school?
That's prior to. I can tell you. Okay. So this was St. Patrick's was very competitive. We have every resource you can think about as far as education-wise. When you call SAT, onto the wall. Okay. What damage the country? For example, you have over 1,000 medical doctors in Liberia prior to the war. Since the war, since 1990, you don't have 500 doctors. Nothing going away. We have. That's why I say we need to invest smartly into education, smartly, not just invest in education. So speaking of education, I had a tough time after I lost my late father. I went through high school, and I didn't like where I graduated or came out from, Boston High School. And then I was fortunate to move to America. And when I did, the first thing I did was I went to Seton Institute, now Lincoln Institute, where I learned computers because I was very nervous, even working a freaking ATM machine or pumping gas. Like, this thing is going to explode. And then I would see little kids on the computer. I'm like, what's going on here? So I did 9 months at Seton Institute and got a software application specialist certificate. Should have been 18 months for associated computer science. I walk away. All I mean, there was some. Then I did community college for 1 year and a semester, all remaining courses, only to come up with 6 credits that were transferred.
Yeah, I want you to get a little closer to the mic, please.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Only to get 6 college credits that was transferable, and I graduated with a bachelor's science degree from Springfield College in Human Services. Okay. Technically, emphasis in early childhood education. I went on to study administration of human services, which makes me an administrator. Graduated from Woburn University, 2008, with a bachelor's science degree in administration of human services. And I did St. Joe's postgraduate certificate in applied behavior analysis, which makes me a mental health clinician. Okay. So that's my background. I have since practiced as a professional since I left grad school 2008-2009. So I've been a mental health clinician also since 2010, and administrator since 2009 up to present. Yeah. Wow. And I practice in different sectors within the human services field. I work with mental health patients, whether it's drug and alcohol addiction, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's poverty, whether it's housing issue. I've worked with resettlement agencies, the oldest, highest Jewish agency since 1890-something. I resettled over 100 refugees when I moved back from Liberia. From Afghanistan, Ukraine, you name it, Sudan, wherever. So my background is very diverse.
So, but when you were at the Ministry of Public Works, right? Would you say your skills were used properly? Or
yes. A lot of people got it. So the thing is, what the sanitation and hygiene is more of a behavior change. Sanitation, you have to change behavior to making sure that people do not dump on the outside and put the trash away properly, and better bathrooms and so forth. That's behavior change. The same with sanitation and hygiene. The same with hygiene. People have to properly groom and do things properly. So it's more of a behavior change. A watch portfolio was behavior change. Okay. That's why I manage that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you agree with that statement?
I don't understand the individuals being very vague.
Just not that you be. I mean, so
I'm not biblical, so I don't understand that. Okay. If the person named Boyce can elaborate, I will appreciate that. And he has MOBUTU up there. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's.
I remember that outfit. where at the capital, I think I took him there for something, either the Iboma loan or Eton something. I remember that.
All right, man. So that's a enjoyable 2 hours, man.
But is it okay that we ask this gentleman what he means by that?
Yeah,
George, not that
listening.
not George.
Yeah, maybe.
And the reason why I want him to do that is simply because let me just say this in the public as I look into the camera. It's nothing perfect about me as an individual. I'm corrupt. I'm sinful if you're gonna go biblical. But when it comes to public service, sorry, sir. I am very, very straightforward. When it comes to providing for the people, I've sacrificed a lot. I've been in this business a long since 2013. I put shoes on 1,000 people feet in Division 28 and Division 40. Magibi County, not just shoes, but there were so many things that were distributed. I've been around, not just signing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I worked with you for a little bit in the chapter.
Oh yeah, briefly during our but just the pandemic, we did a very good thank you. I want to say thank you for that. I was very proud of this chapter. I think we took the right steps. And we've been working together. There's been so many clashes. I remember when I served on the board, but we always got along though after our, so you know, but I think we've done a lot.
Yeah, I agree with him when it comes to working. If you want somebody to get something done, this is the guy to talk to. Yeah, he does the work. It's not like for people to get out of work. There's a different that weather stuff.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Tim, that's a long show, dude.
Yeah, let me see what happened here. What went wrong?
The people didn't get it.
I think I did. I did something wrong. There you go. Yeah. All right. So, but I just want you to. I just want to give you the opportunity. Maybe you give a closing statement.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, closing statement again. I'm going to say a big thank you.
But before you go ahead, I must ask a question.
Yeah.
Are you going to Florida or Minnesota? The convention.
I'm going.
We got 2 conventions here.
I went to 2 conventions when we had a conflict, and I'm not going to 2 conventions again. I'm going to go to 1 convention.
And where are you going?
And that would be decided as soon as these folks fly in. I see people saying that constitutional is Florida. If it's constitutional in Florida, we will all go there. And that's the reason why we should try to get our president on board in the executive. We should be one. We should stick together. This organization of the people is United Sapo Association, not Sapo Association. We must learn how to get along. We have war that brought us up here. It's because of civil war we are here. Have we still not learned how to get along in the 21st century? In the richest country in the world? In a civilized country? Come on, man.
And that's why I mean, there's an argument. I've got this video. A young guy was on one of the local radio stations in Liberia. He was talking about Sapo people having their own county. You know, that's the message we're pushing. I mean, he made his case, but if we can't stay together here in the US,
I don't. First of all, I like that idea. People push around for Sapo people having their own county, but then when I reflect deeply, I think it takes away from our history, and it's sort of divisive in the sense that, for example, when I say history, we are part of the founding members of our country, and then you have we are scattered in different segments. So you take away, maybe you might take away the sea coast from us if you're going to separate us.
We're still in Liberia, though.
Yeah, look, it's too late for that. We've coexisted forever. Why now? First of all, it has to do with resources. The government can better provide legal resources to towards county development. Are you going to split that to increase the wage bill? That's just a consideration, but I don't think we should. We've existed for long. Let's work out something.
I agree with you.
I would love, you know how many times, but that's the thing. Do you know how many times, just 2 weeks ago, I got attacked. Oh, you're Sapo, you got no tribe and you're crying. I said, yes, we are crying. We are crying people. The Sapo are crying Sapo people. But when you talk about us not having tribe, I don't think we really need that. We coexist with our folks and we fine. We have a county. We don't need a tribe.
I mean,
and one last thing. In my purview, I know for one fact that the Sapo group is a tribe, whether it's not documented, it's undocumented, but I know we are a tribe because there are a lot of characteristics that we shared with folks that are considered to be tribes.
I mean, you're educated. I read our own books, man.
And that's one of the biggest reasons Liberians have way too many lazy intellectuals. We don't write.
We got to write our own books.
We don't write. No, absolutely. I agree with you. We don't write. We should write. But thank you. On my closing statement, again, I want to say thank you for the invite. Thank you to our listening audience. those who are viewing. And I also want to say thank you to the president and the board, the executive members and president and the board of directors. I will be reaching up. I'm making an open plea to the both of you to please, just what you said, that I'm going to look into the camera and make this plea, that you are ready for peace. Please, I'm going to reach out to you all. We need to hold together. Our folks depend on us over there. When we hold together, we do better. When we hold together, we are able to profit development. When we hold together, we are able to help and save and develop our people. So please come together. I'm going to be openly reaching out to the president. I'm going to call him. We need you guys down here. We want to sit in one room. We want to talk. And let's resolve this issue. It's possible as long as we sit on the cola tree. So let's sit on it, please. I will be reaching out. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Judah, that was enjoyable 2 hours.
I hope it was, because I probably stepped on a couple or two.
If I hopefully I didn't ask me, you didn't forget something.
But I might have a question for you. You didn't ask me if I have questions.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. If you want to switch the position, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say thank you for the show. It's informative. It allows a platform for us to share ideas and knowledge. I hope that you continue what you do, and hopefully it gets to become a renowned studio. It's just instead of a little mini something.
Yeah, we're growing. We weren't at this level before. And
so whenever you intend to expand and there's need for equipment or whatever help I can be of, please make sure to reach out to me.
All right, I'm even looking for contributors. So if you want to be somebody to be a contributor to the show,
I don't know if I can. Do I have the energy? I don't know.
You do. I mean, you just expand a lot of energy, man.
I try. Maybe it's the one that got me going. I don't know. I need another shot.
More definitely.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. Thank you for the listening.
All right, guys. That's Judah. Let me close it for us.
Yeah, thank you. Man, I didn't know you have been talking that long, man. What?
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that's it. My special guest, Mr. BESTMAN JUDUE. I told you the guy is a reservoir of knowledge. He just gave a lot of information. It's one thing for somebody to give to get information. It's another thing for you to accept it and apply the information. So the application now is up to us. Before I leave, I wanted to do a shout out to Mr. Bode Wie. We'll call him the political lion of SINOE County. There's Mr. Wie right here. Mr. Wie did something great, and which I think we have to be doing. The United Southwest Association. This is what I want us to be doing here. The man donated 2,000 worth of medications to our people over there. That's admirable, so I can allow that stuff to show to end. My next show will put more emphasis on that. But we want to say congratulations to Mr. Bode Wie. Let me take that talking point down and put him here, basically. Yeah, so Mr.
Please remind me that you post my slides as far as how we anticipate.
Okay. Yeah, so the talking points, the slides that Mr. Julie just talked about, he will give it to us, we'll post it so you can take some information. It's very rich. But we want to say that congratulations to Mr. Bode Wie. Great job. 2,000 worth of medication to our people, to the clinic over there. That's awesome. And that's what we need as a people. This is what we need. We don't have to be fighting, and having 2 conventions. These are things we can do. So Political Lion will do a special section on this on our next show. But good job, congratulations. All right, so guys, we're going to talk again tomorrow. You have to join the Voice of SINOE. I have this young man tomorrow, not Arvin, sorry, but his name is that's what's the name? It just slipped my mind quick like that.
From here?
No, he's from Liberia. No, that's not Arvin, but he's the labor commissioner for SINOE County. That's Tababo. His name is Tababo. Yeah. Christian Tababo will be my special guest tomorrow. He's contesting 2023. Yeah, so he'll be on Voice of SINOE tomorrow, 1 p.m. my time, which will be 5 p.m. Liberian time. So you have to join us tomorrow, so we can talk to Mr. Christian Tababo, Kalu. Tababo. You know, that's a young man. He's my special guest tomorrow. It will be fascinating. I haven't talked to him before, but I was told he's a very smart young man. And he wants to be a representative. Mr. Zaza is leaving, and so all the young folks are coming up. They want to try. They want to give you a shot. And so we want to hear from everybody. After Mr. Kalu, when he leaves, the next guest on Sunday will be Mr. Reverend Kolo. Shadrach Kolo will be the next guest on the show. So Voice of Sound will have a line up here. It will be all the guys. Mr. Kolo came second to on Zaza 2017, and he's coming back again. And so want to see the message, the platforms, and things that the guys want to sell to us. All right. So join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. We'll be back here to talk to Christian. All right. That being said, you know the closing music for this show already. Let me bring that image down. And we will call it a night. To go to my mom's house and talk to her. Since you haven't seen her, we'll just talk on the phone. So let me get the closing music here. And we'll talk to you again. All right, guys. Good night. We'll talk to you later. Talk to you tomorrow.